Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for the segment, we have Louis Navellier, chairman and founder of Navellier Associates, to discuss why companies that win the battery war will win the EV race. Louis, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
It's good to be here.
All right, you got it. And before we get into some of the near-term winners, what are some of the challenges that the EV space is having as it relates to batteries?
Well, obviously there's a supply issue of the high-end batteries, the lithium ion, but whoever adopts iron phosphate batteries, those are cheaper. They're made by CATL and BYD, and others are starting to make those batteries. Whoever adopts those batteries, I think, will win the EV war because they'll have more affordable cars. And obviously Tesla has them now on its base Model 3. BYD has them. Tesla also puts those batteries in most of its Chinese cars. And Volkswagen has backed multiple battery technologies, but Gotion in China has a formidable competitor for an iron phosphate battery that uses some manganese that should have higher energy density. That might be a big winner as well.
Yeah, and well, we saw it with Tesla's deliverables, of course, with them, cutting back some of their prices. I'm sure that has helped it a bit. What about the competition, though? Ford, GM, Volkswagen, to produce this at scale and make it affordable, do you think they'll be able to be competitive with Tesla? And what does that mean for Tesla's market share?
Yeah, that's obviously the issue. Obviously, Volkswagen Group got caught with too much inventory. They just discounted a bunch of their EVs. In fact, even I bought one because the discounts kept getting bigger and bigger, so I finally bit. And but the problem is people don't want to pay $100,000 for an EV. So again, I think everybody's going to struggle till they have these iron phosphate batteries. Ford wants to do that with the Mach-E. Obviously, Ford was struggling with reconfiguring its Mexico plant for the Mach-E this last quarter. Obviously, the F-150 Lightning is perfect for LFP batteries because most people that drive trucks just don't care how much they weigh, and they'll be so even though they'll be heavier, they'll be cheaper. And then it's whoever can price them the best. So Hyundai is now number 2 in America because Hyundai and Kia have affordable EVs.
Yeah, I mean, there are actually aggressive regulatory mandates to switch over to EV, but the fact of the matter is, to your point, not everyone can afford. I mean, I wouldn't spend $100,000 on a vehicle, and there aren't that many that are at that $30,000, $40,000 affordable price point. And if there is that rush to make these targets by 2030, 2035, you're only going to continue to see shortages, I guess, unless they in-house some of this battery mining.
They could, but yeah, Peter Zion is all over YouTube explaining how we've never been able to double our resources in a decade. So, whether we'll have enough copper or lithium or nickel or cobalt to make all the batteries is going to be very interesting. So there's going to be acute lithium shortages, in my opinion. And I do own lithium stocks because of that. And I just don't know if there'll be enough supply. But yeah, it's funny. The Biden administration is very interesting. When they passed the Inflation Protection Act, they basically didn't give the credit to the EV manufacturers out of Europe. So they complained. So now they'll get the tax credit if they lease the car with a U.S. bank. So, and then remember, originally Tesla didn't have the tax credit on its base Model 3 because it was using the CATL batteries from China. But then somehow they got the tax credit. So the Biden administration is really trying to push EV sales now. But again, we still have that growing glut. I think it's up 340+% over a year ago. That's a big glut, and it's all from all the new entrants. So it's Volkswagen, GM, Ford, Kia, and Hyundai are being able to sell everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, part of the issue too is, Louis, we need the infrastructure for it, right? We need charging stations. It's great that we can manufacture all these vehicles, but for it to be at scale and practical to use it across the U.S., because not everyone lives in a city. Towns are spread out in areas outside of the coast. It's just a matter of having the infrastructure to charge these cars and make them practical.
That's right. And obviously Tesla's the big winner on that because everybody's going to their standard. I will say that I'm on my second Audi EV. My first one died at 23,000 miles. So when they finally repaired it, it took 5 months to fix. the family didn't trust it, so we sold it, and we finally got another Audi EV, but we leased it because we want to be able to give it back after 3 years before the battery dies again. But I will say that Electrify America is wonderful. I mean, it's fast DC charging, direct current charging. It's at Target, Walmart. It knows your car as soon as you pull up. It's free. We've never had an issue with it. The kids drive our cars, and but I guess is going to go away because everybody's adopting the Tesla standard. So it's getting to be very complicated what adapter you need.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also smart for the retailers as well, right? You have to park your car. I don't know how long it takes exactly. I don't have an EV, but let's call it 20, 30 minutes, and you have to go shop somewhere while your car is just sitting there. So from a retail perspective, I think I would welcome chargers in my parking lot.
Correct. And I know on the Audi case, and this would be the same for Porsche, it's 6.2 miles a minute. Charging the home charging at 240 is 0.4 miles a minute. So it's definitely very effective. But again, that uses a different plug than Tesla uses. And so I'm a little worried that Electrify America is going to have to, may not want to expand as fast as they previously did.
All right, Louis, we appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Thank you.